Hi, my name is Erin and the title of my speech is Legalizing Marijuana. The central idea of my speech is to view both pros and cons of legalizing marijuana and to view both the opposing and agreeing side. Growing up in high school, marijuana was very prevalent. There was a group of guys called the potheads. They smoked pot every day, and they didn't realize that marijuana is a gateway drug which leads them to worse drugs such as Oxycontin and cocaine, which also became a problem for them. Recently, this past year, one of our friends died because of an overdose, so I take this topic very seriously. This topic is very important to all of us because if marijuana does become legalized, there will be more people trying it, and the youth of America will come up with knowing that it is legal and nothing is there to stop them, because most people wouldn't want to do it because there's a law there and they don't want to get in trouble, but without the law there's nothing stopping them. Throughout high school, we've also had motivational speakers come and talk to us to try to get kids, to prevent them from smoking, but I've also had personal experiences with my friends going through rehab and trying to help them get over their drug addiction, and I have also researched this topic very thoroughly. Today I'm going to talk about 3 ways legalizing marijuana is harmful to our country, and also touch on briefly why people agree with legalizing marijuana. Now that we know 3 ways that it's harmful, let's talk briefly why people agree with it. People say that it's beneficial for health reasons, such as cancer, but what they wouldn't know without research is that there are cancer-causing funguses and cells that grow on the marijuana plants. So instead of helping them, sometimes the plants can actually harm them worse. They also say that it will reduce the number of prisoners that are in jail, which would reduce our taxes. And they say that it will be another something to tax for revenue. The reason why people oppose it, the first article I have is Opposition to the California Marijuana Legalization Initiative 2010. Alexander Datig, the author, quotes, "Drug addiction is an epidemic and marijuana is a silent killer. For California to legalize marijuana would further contribute to the harms that addiction brings upon our youth, our families, and our communities." The first thing to go when people start smoking weed is their ambition. They lose drive, they become very lazy. Their reaction time is far less. They don't have enough drive to keep their schoolwork going, and if they were to be driving after smoking, their reaction time is a lot slower, so they could run into a child or hit a car and put other people in harm's way. Now that we understand the consequences of the increase in weed smokers, let's talk about the detrimental activities it can bring also and the negative effects on people. Marijuana is responsible for turning studious, well-behaved students into teens in trouble. There's a study known by Don Fetter and Damon Linker that there's a direct link between marijuana and delinquent depressive behavior. Straight from the article by Don Fetter and Damon Linker, Legalizing Marijuana Would Harm Society, 2006, they did a study that proves that crime will go up as smoking pot goes up. Now that we understand the detrimental activities that come from smoking pot, let's talk briefly about how people will become less valued and our country's beliefs will deteriorate. From the article, Texas Highways by William Martin, he supports the fact that legalizing marijuana would harm our country's values and beliefs by stating that, quote, "The pleasure derived from smoking marijuana is a hollow pleasure that leaves a feeling of emptiness in a user's soul." I think this is very important because especially young kids coming up in high school, or in middle school, they don't exactly sometimes fit in, and the only way out they know is to do drugs because it gives them a satisfaction that isn't really there. They need to be finding their satisfaction in schoolwork, in club sports, or in band or anything. But for them to legalize marijuana this day and age, when times are so hard for everyone, I think that it is difficult for anyone to get out of a drug addiction, especially if they start to see differences in how people approve of them. To wrap things up, the cons far outweigh the pros. Not only will legalizing marijuana be bad for the health of the people in our country, but for the future of our country and for the future Americans coming up. Today I have explained the consequences and the increase in weed smokers, the increase in negative and detrimental activities, and how it would bring our country down, and how it would take away from our country's values and beliefs. For our future generations, whether that be your siblings, your children, or your grandchildren, do we want them to start on a path that will lead to apathy and poor work ethic? In an uncertain time like this, in a world where nobody knows what's going to happen next, everyone needs to have aspirations and motivation to get through these trying times. I urge you to go to hall meetings in your community, cast votes, and involve yourself in your children, siblings, or grandchildren's lives. Get the word out that this is a dead end if we do legalize marijuana. Thank you for watching.